do have one slip for our first call to the public. John Slocum, this would be your time, sir.
I'm trying to get an answer from the zoning office. I've got the storage facility at the corner of Winnegar and M52. That 20-acre parcel was classified agriculture. 5 acres of it was rezoned commercial to put up the buildings. Perry Township has reclassified the entire 20 acres to commercial. The board of review said due to the fact that the commercial property has a higher value than the agricultural property is the reason for the change to commercial. Because I'm paying commercial tax on the entire 20 acres, I would like to rezone the entire 20 to commercial property. The 5 acres cannot be split from the 20 due to the Drain Commission's agreement because of the detention pond that had to be built for the facility. They requested that that cannot be split because of the detention pond. Because the 5 acres does not include the detention pond. It's on the 20-acre parcel. And that pond is large enough to handle the flood water for the 20-acre parcel. Therefore, they requested that we not split anything from that, because if there's a future sale of that property, the sale of the 5 acres would have to include the detention pond. So I would just like to rezone that 20-acre parcel to commercial. I'm paying commercial tax on it, and I would like to be able to get some answers from zoning on that. I've made a few trips to the zoning office and made multiple phone calls, and nobody's been able to answer my question on what I need to do that. So.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
you.
Appreciate your time.
Any additional call to the public for today's meeting? All right, seeing none, Julie, you are up for
Good evening, everybody.
treasurer's report.
Well, thank you. I don't feel like I have a whole lot to report on. July 1st, the summer tax collection started July 1st. Our office collects for Shiawassee Township, so traffic and mail and everything has picked up, and we're busy with that at this time. Again, if you did not receive your summer tax bills, contact your local unit and they can get you a copy. Dog licenses, still low, but we do sell a few, I believe, every day or so. We're at 2,881. I think that's very low this year. I have a conference coming up, Treasurers Conference, will be August 10th to the 13th, so I'll be gone next month at Board Commission meeting. That'll be down in Detroit. Then later in August is our tax sale. The tax foreclosure sale is Thursday, August 21st. We have disposed of, or are in the process of disposing of 3 properties, selling to the local units in their right of first refusal, we call it. City of Durand, City of Owasso, and City of Perry have each picked a vacant parcel that they felt that they could have use for, and so those transactions are happening. We were able to sell them at minimum bid, which is the taxes and fees that are owing. None of them had any intent to claim interest filed for them, so they're free to be sold. That's about all I have for you, unless you have any questions for me.
Nothing for Julie? All right, thank you very much.
Sure, thank you.
All right, community development. Pete, you are up next.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Number of building permits 36, number of zoning permits 22. We typically don't have that kind of disparity. We had some that kind of crossed the zoning was issued in 1 month and the building issued in the next. So this has been an uptick in our building permits. It's been a relatively slow start to the summer, and this still continuing to have issues with the reporting. As you can see from your permit list, we have a little problem with the way it's being presented. So we'll continue to work on that. Our office has been a little busy the last couple of weeks dealing with several matters beyond our control, but I'll speak with Mr. Slocum here in a few minutes after the end of the meeting.
Thank you, we appreciate that. Anything else for Pete? All right, thank you. We will move on to our agenda items. First agenda item, I would look for a motion to approve the appointment of Commissioner Garber, myself, as the MERS delegate.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any discussion? Anybody else want to be the delegate?
So there's only 2 of you left that can be. 'Cause you
Oh,
have to
that's
be
right.
Participating members in MERS, so that's Cindy and Gary. And so you have done it the last several years since John Long did that.
Yeah, and it's interesting. So. All right, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed the same, and then we'll move forward. I would look for a motion to approve resolution number 250710 for the Michigan Community Development Block Grant CDBG funding application.
Moved.
Support.
Moved and supported.
So this is one of the 2 grants that the county is pursuing. This one is the county's, the other one is through the land bank, and this is for infrastructure development in the greater Durand area for the Creek Point subdivision to finish it off. We will be administering the grant, and then they will finish the road, the utilities, etc. And the builder has already agreed to build it, and the TIF has already come through this board in one form, and then we'll have some additional items with it. Without further ado, I will introduce Sarah, who has been our grant writer on this project, and she can get some of the high points. It's a 0 match from the county, and we get 18% of it for administering the grant.
That is correct. So we are seeking $525,000 in infrastructure support through the Community Development Block Grant. That will come with an additional 18% administration, which is roughly $94,400. So your total ask is $619,500. That's going to support the creation of 7 different units, and of those 7 units, 4 of them will be income restricted to below 80% of the area median income. We're working with Alan Edwin on this project, who is developing a total of 17 units for this project, but the infrastructure is only being sought for 7. That will actually layer into your TIF. So the TIF on that will be reduced by a number of years because of this additional funding that's coming in. They waived the 1-to-1 match above and beyond $400,000, so there is no match that's required for this, and it's a completely forgivable grant. So I have a call scheduled for Thursday this week to meet with Ken Edwards, who's from Rowe and doing the engineering, as well as Brian Farkas from Alan Edwin to discuss the timeline and to keep them on track for this submission date, which is due September 17th. Ideally, we'll be able to submit earlier than that as long as they can get me their signed documents and stamped documents. But I'm more than 75% of the way done with the actual narrative portion, just awaiting their final drawings.
And so Ken Edwards is the engineer for the city of Durand, so they're paying to that part of it.
Excellent.
And there will be a public hearing on Wednesday for the final adoption of this resolution so that we can apply for the grant.
Perfect. Any additional questions on that?
I just have one. Is your organization now contracted with the county?
So we do have an application in process, and we are contracted through the county to provide application services. We partnered with Shiawassee Economic Development Group as well as the Cook Family Foundation, and the Cook Family Foundation has provided some additional funding support to offset the cost of your application.
Thank you. All right, anything further?
Sounds like a great thing.
It was.
Win-win.
Yep.
Wonderful.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed the same, and we will see that again on Wednesday. Thank you, Sarah. I would look for a motion to approve resolution number 250711, authorizing entry of participation agreement in the partial settlement of the National Prescription Opioid Settlement.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported.
As part of our ongoing series of settlements for opioid funding, we have another one before us with Sandoz, and it is for $158,199, and that will settle that particular lawsuit.
questions on that? I think we'll probably see this a couple of times throughout the years.
Yep.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed the same, and we will see that again. I would look for a motion to allocate $289,182.05 of the designated opioid funding to the jail nurse contract as a result of opioid treatment for inmates.
Vote.
Support.
Moved and supported.
So one of the things that you approved at last month was a jail nurse's contract for $289,000. After talking to our opioid attorneys, after discussing this settlement with them, they said that some of that funding can be used to offset the jail nurse's contract because of the amount of opioid-related issues that are experienced in the jail. So we would ask you to allocate that money there and free it up from the general fund.
I think that makes a lot of sense and takes an undue burden off of our jail and the staff.
Yes, we have a written legal opinion that says it's allowable.
Yep, I think having the nurses take the bulk of that,
Yep.
if they can,
Yep.
as they're trained to do, makes a lot of sense.
Right.
Finding an extra $300,000 in the general fund would be a heavy lift if we didn't have this money.
Yep, I agree. Anything else on that?
I just had one little brief comment. If we continue to spend money on drug usage, should they build that even further for other issues, or?
I think that's a little outside of this agenda item.
Well, it's almost $300,000. Should we be funding someone's drug usage?
So
I
this is
don't
for
think that's the
nursing
motion.
treatment. So this is, so they're in the jail already, and they're receiving general fund money to support them so that they don't die in jail. They have to receive treatment. And this takes it from the opioid money, which has been designated in our settlements for this kind of activity, and frees up the local taxpayer money
Okay.
for local services.
All right, anything else?
Nope.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed the same. Our next agenda item, I would look for, or to approve the recommended first and second quarter budget adjustments for wages and benefits, general ledger, and all other funds as presented.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported.
So generally, we do these every quarter. This is for the first half of the year. And a budget is a living document, so as things come in either under budget or over budget, we adjust the line items as we go. This evens out to a net zero. We're not overspending anything, we're not underspending anything, but we correct the lines as we go every quarter so that the budget is in line. And most of these things are just regular standard purchases, benefits, fringe, insurance-related things, and purchases that we made over the course of it. For example, there was some extra money in the building fund, and so we fixed some of the walls and the carpeting that had water damage upstairs. And so that was taken from that fund, so we had to adjust it accordingly.
Well, and I think that speaks to the ongoing work that our finance department does. And
Tracy is on top of it.
Yep, she does it very well. I would not want to be outside of the budget. So, all right, anything further on those adjustments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed the same, which brings us to our final agenda item for tonight. I would look for a motion to approve the contract for towing services with All Star as presented.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported.
So very briefly, Eric Morris, our corporate counsel, Jeff Chapman, the sheriff, Corey, the undersheriff, and myself met with All-Star, who you awarded the contract to last time, and we negotiated the contract that is before you. If you look at the fees, you will notice that they either stayed the same or they went down. Some of them went down as much as 25% in the contract negotiation process. And we also included some additional language in there related to restrictions of drivers and other things that have come up.
Pretty thorough.
And the sheriff is here to answer questions.
Well, and I'm confident not only in Dr. Boggs, but certainly in Eric. Eric doesn't take any undue risks, plays things very close to the vest, which is one of the things I do find irritating about him. But I'm very confident that he has looked this over and it is what it should be.
Well, and I would just remind the board that the role of the Board of Commissioners in this particular item is the approval of the contract, because it is a contract.
Right.
Only the board can do that.
And I would certainly defer to the years of experience of our sheriff.
Those two guys over there.
Those two guys. Do you have anything you want to add, Sheriff?
No, we went through it, we spent a great deal of time on it. I believe that this contract, if something does not work and this plan doesn't work, then it'll end as quickly as it started. But I believe this way, I still feel that it's what's best for the people of the county, my employees, our dispatchers, and where I can monitor what is being charged. So when I get the phone call about somebody complaining, I can go directly to the person responsible. I really feel that it's going to work. I can do a lot of things with a contract, which we will later talk about. I've already spoken to Dr. Boggs and Eric, where it could benefit the operation of the sheriff's office. We're going to give it a whirl and do our best, but if it doesn't work, we'll just do away with it. But I think it will. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Did you have something?
I just had a quick question about, just from my own understanding of it. You said most or some, about 25% decrease.
Yeah, so if you look at from last month to this month, there's a price sheet in there, for example,
And
or I guess it was 2 months ago. So, the basic tow service was $125, now it's $75.
Okay.
Basic
Oh, I
tow
see.
rate was $200, now it's $150.
Okay.
Motorcycle went from $150 to $130. So they dropped down or stayed the same.
And so I guess the only other question would be the additional charges if, and just forgive my ignorance on this, but just the additional charges when added, did they drop 25% or was it just like?
I went item by item across. So
Okay.
some of them
Okay.
did,
Gotcha.
and some of them remained the same.
Okay.
For example, the basic road service is 25% less.
Okay, I must be looking at the wrong sheet then, I apologize. Yep. Okay, thank you.
No, there's a lot of sheets there. So.
I didn't.
And again, this isn't something that we have a lot of expertise in.
Right.
So,
No, we're relying on our sheriff's department.
yep, that's what they do. And again, this contract would not necessarily come into play, so you have an accident, you are of course still allowed to pick your own
That's
service, so. All right, anything further on that?
Well, basically, this is going to put it all on our shoulders if this is approved. It won't be on the sheriff's shoulders. It'll be on our responsibility for approving it.
Well, here's the thing, Matthew, is that I would appreciate if you would keep your comments more factual and not mislead people. It is our sheriff, he is our
I just mislead
elected,
anybody.
because it is not on our shoulders. It is on our sheriff and sheriff's department to make these decisions.
We're making the decision.
We are
You
approving
just
a
said
contract.
that. We are making the decision.
We are approving
it's-
a contract.
It's upon us.
All right, you made your comment, thank you.
Yeah.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same, and we will see that again on Wednesday.
Madam Chair, one quick thing.
Yes.
Public safety reports for tomorrow is canceled. There was one agenda item, we have to change a couple things on the RFP and then the 911 forecast.
Oh, that's right, yep, I saw that.
So you only have health tomorrow, just FYI.
Okay, any questions?
No?
All right, second call to the public.
I just want to make a quick comment. I've had some preliminary conversations with yourself, Madam Chair, but I'd like to talk to all the commissioners and anyone who's here to represent their community. This CDBG funding is going to be opening up again in October, and I would love to engage in conversations regarding your communities if you think that there are some projects that might align with that funding. I believe the LOI process, the letter of intent process, will be the same, And I would very much like to bring as much of that money. We had $7.5 million in funding for our region, so all of Region H last year. I'd like to bring all of that into Shiawassee County if I can. So please reach out. I would love to have conversations with you all about how we can help your communities, whether it's for infrastructure, homeowner revitalization, conversion of housing units from existing buildings. We could do a lot of good. So just let me know, okay?
Yeah, thank you for your expertise, and it's very exciting, the work that you do and the work that you do here, so thank you.
Thank you.
And it's something to talk to your local municipalities about as you move forward, because the infrastructure money would be, come through us, but go to them for developing these different projects.
All right.
Go there.
All right, we are adjourned, thank you.
Thank you.